Patrick Beatty reviews the #1 for news. It's Patrick Beatty reviews #1 for news. Yeah. Tune in, get up. Yeah, what's up?
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
What is up, my Gaggle of Geeks, and welcome to my review where we're going to be talking about Willy's Wonderland. So this is starring Nicolas Cage. It's directed by Kevin Lewis, Geo Parsons. The story basically is this guy loses his car on a spike strip, loses his tires basically, and the townsfolk are willing to help him only if he decides to go and clean up this Chuck E. Cheese-like building, essentially, to be a janitorial staff for it. Suddenly, all of the animatronics are coming to life. They're trying to kill him, and it's an all-out fight for survival with a wave of demonic creatures, as well as a flashy group of kids to try to stop this from happening and figure out exactly what is going on. When it comes to Nicolas Cage, I mean, what can you say about him other than he's intense, and for good reason. He's one of the actors where even in Community, you never know if he's the best or the worst or what have you. But in this, the thing is, maybe this is a little bit too. Let me do something. This might be a little brighter. There, that's a little bit better. Maybe with this film, he's the saving grace of it. But at the end of the day, Willy's Wonderland did not land very well for me. And I honestly felt like I was the target audience. So let's break down exactly why. And it could be for one reason in particular. I've already seen a film from Nicolas Cage this year that I think it utilizes him in a similar way and has as out there of a premise, a similar character looks as well. But they're nothing alike when it comes to the story and things like that. But he's utilized so much better in that. And seeing him in this, it's clear that they wanted him for a very specific reason, to be Nicolas Cage during the moments of like bashing in the heads of all the stuff. And for the rest of it, I'll be honest, with captions on, there's only one thing that he says through the entire film. So they're trying to go for a Mad Max type of thing. And the thing he says, you could argue it isn't even something, it might just be a grunt more than anything. But that's the fun stuff about Nicolas Cage. He's crazy, he does weird stuff, and I'm always into it. But what was wrong with this film to me, it was when it cut to the fight scenes where these wonderfully crafted practical effects of like Chuck E. Cheese looking animatronics that looked genuinely terrifying would cut it to the CGI disaster of a character that Nicolas Cage would have to fight with. So I don't know if when he was fighting with these things, if any of them ended up being actually real, or if they were just going for special effects anytime he was attacking the stuff. It threw me out every time because you could tell when it would cut. I think there's a couple characters where there could actually be people stuffed inside for the fighting bits too. But anytime it would show the animatronic, and you could tell that there was a person in it. I mean, you're not dumb when you're watching it, but the minute that it turns into violence and stuff, it went into this very cheap looking CG, which to me, if you've made the practical effects, be like the Mandalorian and just go for it. Go for it with as much as you possibly can. And if you can't afford the special effects for it, or you're not focusing on it as much, it's going to be kind of an eyesore. At least it was for me. And the other thing that I had the issue with regarding this film was in its editing. It feels really choppy. Like it will be starting one scene and completely forget about where they were going, cut to a completely different storyline, and it's not until that storyline's about to wrap up that they realize that they have to go back to the other, and everything kind of seems misplaced as far as how it was edited through. The fighting, just a lot of quick cuts, very handheld, choppy, just doesn't work as well as you would hope it would. But again, I don't blame Nicolas Cage for this, because honestly, he was Nicolas Cage in the sense that he was walking around doing the things that Nick Cage does. There's a little bit of a story arc between him and, like, I guess soda cans is the best way I could put it, but it doesn't work. And a part of me thinks that maybe he was more withholding with what he could have done with this. I wish we could have gotten a little bit more, I suppose, from these kids. They kind of are in it just to be, I guess, cannon fodder, be the victims for the pet people, but they're utilized a little bit too much for me. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about one in particular character who I feel like they cast as like the secondary lead, but really doesn't serve much of a purpose. The entire film is pretty clean cut in what it's trying to do, but it's still not necessarily what you want out of it. You just want a little bit more than what you're getting. And I just don't think that this film delivered on the promise of Nicolas Cage being in a Chuck E. Cheese and, completely being unhinged. There's just a little bit of unhingedness. So that's kind of my review with this. I don't know if I'm going to be on the outskirts of this film. And again, I think it may just be because I saw probably my favorite Nicolas Cage movie this year, and that was Prisoners of Ghostland. So if you want to check that review out to see how I was feeling with that movie when it debuted, go check that out. And an hour and a half, check out Willy's Wonderland. Tell me what you think, and we'll go from there. I love all of you, and thank you for watching. I will see you at the next review.